President Park Geun-hye is in Canada for a state visit where she plans to finalize the South Korea-Canada Free Trade Agreement. The police have made a high-profile arrest of some of the members of Korea's largest organized crime ring. And American superstar Michael Bolton will be in Korea soon for an upcoming appearance on the KBS show Immortal Songs. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Monday, September 22nd. I'm Luke Clary. President Park Geun-hye began her state visit to Canada by meeting with members of Korean communities in the country. She also plans to officially conclude a bilateral free trade agreement during her visit.
President Park Geun-hye arrived in Canada to an official welcoming ceremony. She's the first Korean president in 15 years to make a state visit to the country. During her visit, the Korea-Canada Free Trade Agreement will be signed at a summit between President Park and a Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper.
FTA를 통해서 서비스 산업, 문화 산업까지 망라하는 포괄적 파트너십으로 발전하게 됩니다.
The bilateral free trade deal is set to be signed 9 years after negotiations began. Tariffs on 99% of traded goods are to be removed within the next 10 years. Import duties on Korean-made automobiles will be lifted within the next 3 years, and those on manufactured goods such as washers and refrigerators within 5 years. Korea stands to gain more export competitiveness as the tariffs ease. Wa Dae projected that Korean farmers would see a loss of about $30.8 million annually as a result of removing the tariffs. The government plans to allocate the funding of roughly $2 billion to assist the agriculture and livestock sectors. At a meeting with Korean Canadians, President Park promised to support to some 200,000 ethnic Koreans in Canada.
나날이 발전하는 양국 관계가 동포 여러분에게 더 큰 발전의 기회로 이어질 수 있도록 최선을 다하겠습니다.
At tomorrow's summit, President Park will sign a joint declaration which describes how the two countries will take the over 50 years of diplomatic relations to the next level and discuss ways to strengthen cooperation between the two countries.
Finance ministers of G20 member countries have adopted a joint statement pledging to strengthen cooperation in addressing low economic growth. They did have some words of praise for the South Korean government's expansive economic policy.
In their latest joint statement, finance ministers of G20 major economies reaffirmed that boosting consumption and structural reforms would be the right solutions to stimulate the tepid economy. The ministers said that the G20 economies will introduce monetary policies that would support an economic recovery. They also agreed to increase investment in building social overhead capital as a way to create jobs.
This initiative consists of an integrated set of actions to increase quality infrastructure investment right across the G20 and beyond.
In an effort to tackle offshore tax evasion, G20 countries will sign an agreement to share tax information by 2018. With the ministers' praise, South Korea's expansive economic policies were reflected in the joint statement.
경제정책 방향에 담고 있는 내용들을 설명해서 우리 수요 진작 정책과 구조개혁 정책이 높은 평가를 받도록 각국의 공감대를 형성했습니다.
The International Monetary Fund and the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development said that among the 9 leading nations of the G20, South Korea is taking the most effective policies to boost economic growth. The G20 finance ministers wrapped up the 2-day meeting, pledging active cooperation to stimulate economic growth.
Even in the face of Pyongyang's declaration of retaliation, a North Korean refugee group went ahead with the air dispersal of leaflets critical of the regime. How this propaganda measure will affect inter-Korean relations while the Asian Games are underway remains to be seen.
A group of North Korean defectors have launched balloons filled with anti-Pyongyang leaflets in spite of North Korea's repeated demands to stop the propaganda tactic. Some civic group members were on site to protest the move, but the North Korean refugee group sponsoring the event defended its legitimacy.
김정은의 거짓과 위선에 속지 말자. 사랑하는 2천만 동포들에게 이런 내용의 전단을 보냈는데요.
Yesterday, they sent about 200,000 propaganda materials across the border. In addition to the leaflets denouncing North Korea's hereditary succession, the balloons contained about 1,000 $1 bills, memory cards, and DVDs. Since last week, Pyongyang has been criticizing Seoul for supporting the anti-North Korea activity and threatened to take retaliatory measures. The North even sent a wire to Wa Dae warning that there would be no high-ranking officials meeting between the two Koreas unless the balloon launching stopped.
비라 살포 행위가 당국과는 무관한 것처럼 변명이 되고 있는 것은 그야말로 철면피의 극치이다.
North Korea is reacting very sensitively to the matter because the regime considers the propaganda leaflets a serious threat.
정권의 부당성과 또 주민들을 선동해서 봉기하라고 하는 그런 내용들이 들어있기 때문에 묵과하면은 정권을 내놓아야 되는 거나 마찬가지 상황이기 때문에.
The South Korean government, however, said once again that it would not get involved since it has no legal grounds to stop civilian groups from independently spreading the leaflets.
Typhoon Wong is moving north toward Shanghai, China. And despite the fact that it's grown weaker, the tropical storm is predicted to bring heavy rains to part of the Korean peninsula.
Typhoon Wong dumped heavy rain on the south of Taiwan on its northward track. The mountainous southeast region of Taiwan was hit by record heavy rains of 1,000 millimeters in just 2 days. However, the typhoon has weakened to a smaller one. Wong is predicted to move north toward Shanghai and China's inland region. The tropical storm will move out to the Yellow Sea by Tuesday afternoon, but its strength will further weaken. Despite its weaker strength, the storm will generate thick, rainy clouds, which are forecast to arrive at the west coast of the Korean peninsula Tuesday afternoon.
다량의 열대성 수증기가 유입되어 화요일 오후부터 수요일까지 국지적으로 시간당 30mm 이상의 강한 비가 올 것으로 예상합니다.
The typhoon will bring rains of 30 to 100 millimeters to South Korea on average. However, heavy rains of up to 150 millimeters are predicted for some regions, like the southern coast and the area near Mount Chiri. The Korea Meteorological Administration forecasts that strong gusts and high waves will hit coastal regions by Thursday. The weather agency asks people to take extra caution to stay safe.
The police have arrested members of Korea's largest organized crime ring. These Korean mobsters have run adult entertainment establishments, illegal gambling sites, and other profit-making operations to fund their activities.
One day in 2010 in front of a hotel in the Gangnam district, Kim Tae-chon, then boss of the Pumsobang mob family, was spotted attending the wedding of another mob member. The burly men bow deeply as the car carrying Kim drives off. It was around this time when the once declining Pumsobang mob began in earnest to rebuild its organization. The mob's underboss, a 47-year-old man surnamed Kim, was leading the group's revival and started expanding its influence by getting involved in various profit-making enterprises. They had once showed off their menace by engaging in a deadly standoff with another crime family, the Cheolsong, in the middle of the bustling Gangnam district. The Pumsobang family funded itself by interfering with building ownership disputes or running illegal gambling sites. These gangsters extorted protection money from the owners of adult entertainment establishments or even operated such businesses themselves. The police went on a campaign to break up organized crime rings in the wake of the violent clash between the Pumsobang family and the Cheolsong family. After a 3-year investigation, the police were finally able to arrest the underboss Kim and some 60 members of the Pumsobang crime family.
범서방파는 이 주식 투자라든지 기업의 부실 기업의 인수 합병, 돈이 될 만한 어떤 모든 사업에 이권 개입을 하고 있는 폭력배들입니다.
The Pumsobang family is not likely to recover anytime soon from the unexpected death of its boss Kim Tae-chon in January of 2013 and the latest mass arrest of its key members.
A large number of tube wells now sit abandoned. It's a problem because they're likely to pollute groundwater, but there are few rules in place to address the issue. Here's the story.
Mount Togyu National Park is famous for its beautiful scenery. However, large tube wells, which are 2 centimeters in diameter, are left abandoned here and there. With the corrosion of the wells, rust makes groundwater dirty with residue.
농약 같은 거 들어가고.
A construction company dug the 400-meter-long Tubewells during its project to build a hotel in the region. However, the holes have been abandoned for 4 years. Contaminated soil and sewage seep along the wells to pollute the groundwater. The contaminated groundwater then passes through the alluvial and rocky layers to reach the source of drinking water.
오염의 고속도로, 왜냐하면 지표의 오염물질들을 바로 심층의 지하수까지 전달하기 때문에
The number of abandoned tubewells across the nation has doubled to 23,000 over the past 5 years. However, the local government has turned a blind eye to the problem, saying that it has no sufficient workforce.
소수인으로 일제 조사한다는 어렵기 때문에 단계별로 나눠서 이렇게 조사하는 방안을 적극 강구하도록.
But there is a regulation on the books that stipulates that there will be no punishment if a tubewell is closed down and removed within a month after it is found. The tubewells have been left abandoned partly because of the lax rule.
The latest craze, micro videos that last just 5 or 6 seconds at a time. These mini productions are quickly gaining popularity. Let's take a look.
A drunken man tries to enter the password for his door lock, but each time it turns out to be wrong. The facial expressions of this man keep changing constantly. One moment he's smiling, then suddenly turns angry and starts crying. All of these movies presented at a film festival last only 6 seconds. But despite their short running time, they send strong messages.
6초짜리 같은 경우는 순식간에 확 지나가잖아요. 그래서 그 메시지가 그냥 딱 나오니까 아, 이게 이런 거를 표현을 하는 거구나.
These days, it's not just movies that are getting shorter. This 5-second TV commercial featuring an elderly man selling puffed rice has him shout only one word and smiling by the end. The commercial is just a third of the length of a regular TV ad. 5 seconds is certainly not enough to tell a story, but the clear and concise message sounds convincing enough.
짧은 시간 내에 뭔가를 전달하고자 하는 걸 확실하게 전달하지 않으면 너무나 많은 영상들이 볼 것들이 많기 때문에 이미 넘어가 버린다는 거죠.
Most of the current video service providers permit their users to post videos lasting less than 30 seconds. And some film production companies are even planning to produce movies lasting only 1 second. In this fast-paced world, it takes just a few seconds to grab the viewer's attention and keep them interested.
In entertainment, famous American singer Michael Bolton will soon make an appearance on the KBS music show, Immortal Songs.
This song, performed with a husky yet alluring voice, captivated the hearts of women the world over. Its performer, singer Michael Bolton, will appear on KBS TV2's music show Immortal Songs as the first foreign artist of legendary status. Michael Bolton is one of the favorite foreign singers of the Korean public. The show will be taped on September 29th and will feature singers Park Geun-hye, Park Jae-bum, Hyo-rin, and A-lee, who will perform Bolton's hit songs. The show will go on the air on October 11th. The boy band 2PM is gaining popularity in Japan. The group recently released its 8th single album entitled Midarete Mina, or Go Crazy, which has already topped Japan's Oricon chart. The album also topped the Tower Records World and Daily charts just 3 days after its release. The new single is the Japanese version of the song Go Crazy from 2PM's latest studio album that was released in Korea on September 15th.
지윤 씨 인생의 동반자가 되어 험한 세상에서
Actor Jin-gu, who is highly recognized for his acting skills, yesterday tied the knot with a woman who is 4 years his junior. Singers Lee-jung and Kumi sang congratulatory songs at the actor's wedding.
지금 지윤 씨한테 딴 생각하란 말.
This is the season for jumbo shrimp, and there's an abundance of it this fall. Let's go to the West Coast, where you can have your fill of sweet, plump jumbo shrimps. Jumbo shrimp are back. Fishermen on Korea's West Coast are hauling in big catches of jumbo shrimp these days. Natural jumbo shrimp, big, plump, and sweet, are in season now. Thanks to huge catches this year, the prices of jumbo shrimp have gone down, attracting many shrimp lovers keen on tasting the season's delicacy.
지금이 대하철이라서요. 싱싱하고 바로 앞에서 다 잡는다고 하니까 저희가 믿고 먹으러 왔어요.
Namdong Port in Hongsong, South Chungcheong Province is bustling with busy fishermen. They're in the midst of the busiest and happiest time of the year. There are not enough workers to haul up a series of nets spilling over with thrashing fresh shrimp. A record catch can be attributed to the absence of long summer rains or devastating typhoons on the west coast and just the right water temperatures.
예전에 비해서 많이 나는 편이에요. 올해는. 예를 들어서 한 20kg 잡았다 하면 올해는 한 80kg 정도.
The peak season for jumbo shrimp is between September and November. In-season shrimp are not only firm and buttery, they're also packed with nutrients. Good shrimp can be distinguished by their hard shells and transparent and glistening bodies. Fresh ones can even be enjoyed raw.
맛있어요, 아주. 맛있고 달아요, 너무 맛있어.
Meanwhile, a jumbo shrimp festival is taking place around Namdong Port. There are visitors from all over the country seem to be waiting eagerly for something.
대하 맨손잡이 체험한다면서 기다리고 있어요.
They've been waiting for a shrimp catching event to start. On weekends, the festival releases freshly caught shrimp in a pool, inviting visitors to catch them with their bare hands. People jump into the water at the start signal and try grabbing the jumping shrimp with their hands. With the pool brimming with live shrimp, even children have no trouble catching them all by themselves.
많이 잡았어요.
Both adults and children are having a great time catching the shrimp. They now have unforgettable memories as well as fresh shrimp.
대박입니다, 대박! 우리 애들하고 맛있게 구먹여야죠.
There's a place right next to the event site where visitors can cook the shrimp they caught. Jumbo shrimp are known for their mild, buttery flavor. Grilled on top of a thin bed of salt, that's the best way to enjoy this fall treat from the seas.
사 먹는 것보다 잡아보니까 훨씬 더 달달하고 되게 맛있는 것 같아요.
죽어있는 거 맨날 먹다가 이렇게 와서 살아있는 거 잡아보고 체험하고 이러니까 너무너무 신나고 좋은 것 같아요.
The West Coast jumbo shrimp in season can be enjoyed until the end of November. So you still have a couple of months to relish the sweet, delectable crustacean this fall. Now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. That's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Have a great day.